Canada, often seen as a land of opportunity with stunning landscapes, a high quality of life, and a stable economy, has become a more challenging place to live in recent years. Beneath the surface of its natural beauty and reputation as a haven for immigrants lies a growing number of economic issues that are making life harder for many Canadians. Let's explore why living in Canada seems to be getting worse year after year. First, let's talk about the cost of living. Over the past decade, prices have been steadily climbing. Housing, in particular, has become a major concern. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, home prices have skyrocketed. In early 2024, the average home price in Canada ranged between $750,000 to $850,000 Canadian dollars, with cities like Toronto and Vancouver exceeding $1 million. Even renting has become a struggle, with rental costs hitting record highs across the country. Young Canadians are finding it harder to buy a home, and many are stuck renting well into their 30s. This has created a sense of frustration and hopelessness among those who feel priced out of the housing market. The reasons behind this housing crisis are complex. There's a high demand for housing, but the supply hasn't kept up. Many blame foreign investors for driving up prices, while others point to government policies that have failed to address the problem. Attempts to cool the market, like introducing foreign buyer taxes and tighter mortgage rules, have had limited success. Meanwhile, those who do manage to buy a home often face enormous mortgage debt, which can take decades to pay off. Another factor making life harder is the rising cost of everyday essentials. Inflation has been hitting Canadian families where it hurts. At the grocery store, the price of food has surged in recent years, partly due to global supply chain disruptions, climate-related issues, and increased production costs. Everything from fresh produce to basic staples has seen a spike, forcing many to tighten their budgets. For low-income families, this has been especially tough, with more people turning to food banks just to make ends meet. Transportation costs have also added to the financial burden. Gas prices have remained high, partly due to global oil market fluctuations and Canada's carbon pricing policies. While the carbon tax is aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions, it also increases the cost of driving and heating homes, particularly in colder regions where people rely heavily on fuel to get through the harsh winters. Now let's turn to the job market. Canada's economy has been relatively stable, but there are signs of trouble. The COVID-19 pandemic shook the labor market, and while unemployment rates have recovered, many jobs that came back are not the same as before. A growing number of positions are in the gig economy, temporary, part-time, or contract work without benefits. Job security has become a major issue, with many workers facing unpredictable hours and low wages. Young people, in particular, are struggling to find well-paying, stable jobs that match their education and skills. The income gap in Canada is widening. While some sectors like tech and finance are booming, many Canadians are stuck in low-wage jobs that don't keep up with the rising cost of living. This has led to a sense of economic inequality, where the wealthy are getting wealthier and the middle and lower classes are feeling squeezed. It's not just about money, either. It's about opportunity. Many Canadians feel like the traditional path to success, education, hard work, home ownership, is no longer within reach. Public services are also feeling the strain. Canada is known for its healthcare system, but in recent years, access to quality care has become a growing concern. Wait times for specialists, surgeries, and even basic care have increased. The pandemic put enormous pressure on the system, exposing shortages in healthcare workers and resources. In some provinces, emergency rooms have been overwhelmed, and finding a family doctor has become a challenge. This has led to frustration among Canadians who feel that the healthcare system, a point of national pride, is not living up to expectations. Education is another area where cracks are showing. Tuition fees for higher education have steadily increased, leaving students with heavy debt loads. At the same time, many graduates find it challenging to secure jobs in their field, leading to a mismatch between education and employment opportunities. The pressure to obtain advanced degrees just to stand out in a competitive job market has added to the financial burden faced by young Canadians. Canada's aging population is also putting pressure on public services and the economy. As more people retire, the demand for healthcare and pensions is growing, while the working age population struggles to support these increasing costs. This demographic shift is creating a financial strain on the government's budget, leading to concerns about how Canada will continue to fund its social safety net in the future. Environmental concerns are another factor that's affecting the quality of life in Canada. Climate change is having a real impact, with more frequent and severe natural disasters. Wildfires, floods, and extreme weather events are becoming more common, causing damage to homes, infrastructure, and livelihoods. In some regions, air quality has worsened due to smoke from wildfires, and rising temperatures are affecting agriculture, leading to concerns about food security in the long term. Canada has ambitious climate goals, aiming for net zero emissions by 2050, but the transition to a greener economy comes with its own set of challenges. Investments in renewable energy and green technology are necessary, but they require time, money, and political will. In the meantime, industries like oil and gas, which are significant contributors to the Canadian economy, face an uncertain future. This has created tension in provinces that rely heavily on resource extraction for jobs and economic stability, highlighting the regional divides within the country. The political landscape in Canada has also become more divided. Regional tensions, particularly between Western provinces and the federal government, have intensified. Some feel that Ottawa's policies don't adequately represent the interests of all Canadians, leading to feelings of alienation in certain areas. Issues like energy policy, carbon taxes, and equalization payments have become hot-button topics, sparking debates over fairness and representation. Immigration, long seen as a strength of Canada's economy, has also become a point of debate. While immigration helps address labor shortages and supports economic growth, it also adds pressure to the housing market and public services. The rapid influx of newcomers has led to concerns about whether Canada's infrastructure can keep up, especially in major cities where populations are expanding quickly. Balancing the benefits of immigration with the challenges of integration and housing has become a key issue for policymakers. At the end of the day, the reasons why living in Canada is getting harder are deeply interconnected. Rising costs, economic inequality, strains on public services, environmental challenges, and political divisions are all part of a bigger picture. Canada is still a land of opportunity for many, but the reality is that it's becoming more difficult for average Canadians to thrive. Despite these challenges, there is hope. Canadians are known for their resilience and ability to adapt. Solutions are possible, but they will require bold policy changes, strong leadership, and a willingness to address the root causes of these problems. Whether it's reforming the housing market, investing in education and healthcare, or finding a balanced path to a greener economy, the choices Canada makes in the coming years will shape its future. So, what does the future hold for Canada? Can the country overcome these growing challenges, or will the quality of life continue to decline? The answer lies in the choices Canadians make, the policies they support, and the leaders they elect. The stakes are high, and the outcome will determine whether Canada remains a land of promise or faces a more uncertain future. As the story unfolds, one thing is clear: Canada is at a turning point, and how it responds to these challenges will define the nation for generations to come. The next chapter in Canada's story could be one of renewal and resilience, or it could be a cautionary tale of missed opportunities and growing divisions. Only time will tell which path Canada chooses.